Evening one, good evening all. Welcome to part of your Wednesday night entertainment. And we are here with, of course, MRS round 4 already this season. And we are here at the very soggy, very damp British Grand Prix for the 18-minute of qualifying. We've seen some incredible races, of course, already this season, and I'm sure we are going to get another exciting one for you. Mulson's already left the session, unfortunately. But yeah, very damp race that we've got for qualifying. Don't know what it's going to be in the race. Hopefully it's going to be a good one. I'm sure it always is. We've seen some incredible close racing so far this season, but we've got a grid of 10, so again this is another one of those races that the driver just needs to finish even on the lead lap, and they are going to be in the points, so very important for them all to do that. As I said, so we've got 18 minutes of qualifying coming up, and then we have got the 50% race. Sorry, I'm just getting myself a little bit slow tonight, folks, so I do apologise. We're getting there slowly but surely. Let's have a quick look. There's a few people already out on track. Some people going for the Inters, some people there. Look at Thomas and Trev. They're on the soft tyres, so it may be raining, but it doesn't seem to be that heavy. It's deciding the game more so than anything that, we think that it's going to be okay in terms of the soft tyres. Now, we'll wait and see if that's going to be the case throughout qualifying. If it gets a little bit heavier, maybe we'll get some rain during the race. Who knows? Good evening, everybody who is joining me. Lovely to have you with us. Please do get involved in the chat when you can. We've got Trem. Liquid Gas had some great races so far this season, of course. 1-2 with his teammate Grimholt last time out in Japan. If you didn't see it, please. Very, very good race. And there were a lot of team orders in play. So that was an interesting one. Of course, swapping places every single lap before the end. And Grimholt took the win ahead of Liquid Gas. Thomas had a difficult race himself, but don't forget, folks, the top 25%, which is going to be... Oh, my goodness me, my maths is terrible. Top 2? 25 to 50? Yeah, so top 2 or 3 are going to have to start on their qualifying tyre when it comes to the race. But Thomas is one of the first ones on lap. He's on the soft tyres, so let's just keep our eye on him. See how the grip is, see how that car behaves. Because, of course, in these treacherous conditions, but the rain does seem to be slightly ending. Depends on the camera angle, doesn't it, really? But we've got a lovely long shot there as Thomas comes down the old start-finish straight. Nearly, not quite flat out, not confident yet with his tyres. Maybe with the grip that's out on circuit. There's only Blood Diamond who's gone out on the Inter, so that's an interesting one. Thomas's teammate, who's... the Cassaps are very, very good this season. Very strong team. And there, funny enough, is his teammate. Is he trying to get a distant tow? Possibly on... maybe a little bit too far behind, but on his opening run. But the grip, the car seems to be behaving okay in these very damp, very slippery, and one of my co-commentators in another league loves the word moist conditions that we've got. If he ever sees it, I know he's going to squirm at that, so... But yeah, so, it goes very, very wide, but does invalidate his time, does a 34.7. So I think there is going to be quite a lot of time to come in this session, especially if it does seem to dry up. Liquid Gas got a little bit squiggly through the Beckett's complex there into Chapel, and it goes down the old Hangar Straight. Of course, the circuit once a former RAF airfield, so of course we've got the Hanger Straight. We've got a lot of parts of this circuit named after that, and just trying to squirreling away the rear of that Aston Martin. 35.6, so not quite near Thomas. So that's actually a really, really good lap. What can Monster do in the Ferrari? One's a little bit wide, but mine just not to invalidate his time. I think he's got a lot of his battery left, I must say. But I know Monster likes to get a feel. He had a really good race last time out. He's had a lot of good races this season. So, build on that one. So, what about the other Aston Martin? He's got a lot of battery, but looking according to that map in the right-hand corner, he's set a purple first sector, so that's interesting. This is one of those tracks, again, the payoff in between getting the right setup between that straight line speed that is difficult down the Wellington straight, down the Hangar straight, down even the first sector mainly, and then of course where Grimo's coming up to now. He looks like he's bailed on this lap, very tentative indeed. What about Trem? He's invalidated. Dom Walsh, welcome. Molson also welcome. I don't believe I've seen either of you this season, so lovely to have you racing with us. So Blood Diamond did a 35.5 on the intermediate tyres, so that tells me we're on a crossover phase at this moment. Depends on what the track's going to do. Is it going to rubber up? Is it going to be better for the inters throughout this session? Is it going to be the soft tyres? We know how quick Thomas can be and has been so far this season. But Molson, he's also bailed on his lap. Dom Walsh, what's he doing in the Red Bull? Very, very steady through Cops. Sorry, that was Stoke. Apologies. And then into Vale and the final couple of corners. And what can Dom do? Needy runs wide at 37.7 for him. Trem's on a lap as well. Looking at the ERS levels at this moment in time, it does look as though everyone's just taking it steady, just feeling the way around, seeing where the grip is. Ooh, Trem got very, very sideways through. That was stuff. Now we've got the right corner arm, so it does help. But yeah, sorry, Cops and stuff. I got completely mixed up. I do apologise, everybody. Normal service, half decent service, must be said at best, will be resumed very shortly, I promise you. But yeah, so let's have a look. I'm going to go to, where are we? There we are, the drivers' standings so far this season. I've actually called this round 4, and it's not. It's actually round 5. So I do apologise, folks. 5th round of the championship. So Thomas is currently leading the way, and he's currently on provisional pole position. He has got a decent gap of 11 points to Liquid Gas, and then Grimo is following suit just behind, 5 points behind his teammate in 3rd. Then we got Monster, only 5 points behind that as well. In 4th, and Blood Diamond, we saw, I mentioned, Grimo's done a great 2nd lap on those soft tyres, found the grip, found the confidence as well, so that's really good. Molson and Monster going out on the inters. So they think at this moment in time that the grip just isn't quite there, so they're going to give it a go, as Dom's gone right behind his teammate on a 36.2. But no, look at this, Thomas, I think, is leaving the pits. Has left the pits on the same set of soft tyres. So that's, again, says that we could potentially be looking at a dry race. So interesting. That's where some people may be saving a set of the soft tyres. And we're going to ride on board with Thomas at the end of that lap. Let's have a look at someone who's on a lap at the minute. Mike's build on his lap. What's Moslem? He's on a fast lap on the intermediate tyres. Let's have a look how this car seems to behave, because like I say, we're sort of at that crossover phase. Some camera angles look as though it's stopping raining, but it is so light. There are a couple of umbrellas in the grandstand, so there's one at the back there. I'm not sure why, because that's undercover. But hey ho, it is EA and Codemasters, so hey ho, it's what we're used to. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I hope I'm honestly not talking to myself. My girlfriend may think I'm a little bit crazy, or more crazy than I already am. I'm also coming to a little bit of traffic. Hopefully everybody's going to just get on with their warm-ups, and Monster's not going to be hampered into the final couple of corners, taking it very steady through there, not wanting to run out wide, not wanting to understeer, which is very, very easy to do round Cops there. I think I got that right. I'll get it right eventually. Uses a 2nd gear through there, but straight up through the gears, not wanting full throttle. He does a 38.4. That does tell me that the tyres aren't working. Where's Thomas? He's going through. Let's have a quick on-board lap with our current provisional pole sitter. He's going through the loop. He's gone through Abbey Farm and Village, and now he's going to accelerate straight through, nearly full throttle, and the DRS is open through Aintree down the Wellington Straight. There is a bump to the right-hand side. He bails on that one and then takes the long turn through Bucklands and the never-ending Luffield corner. Struggling, look at him sawing at the wheel of the front end, trying to keep the grip in there. Then Woodcut, that's flat out through there, down the old international, or the National Straight. And then is he gonna be flat? Changes down just nice and easy, doesn't want to drift too wide, takes a Cops corner absolutely perfect. Liquid Gas has now gone even quicker on his used set of soft tyres, and now we go through the Maggots and Beckett's complex, one of the most beautiful complexes in Formula 1, and DRS is wide open through Chapel, down the Hanger Straight, getting up to 200 miles an hour, and then into Stowe corner, kisses the apex there and keeps it in 6th gear, interestingly, and then in through Vale into the final couple of corners and out through Club corner, sawing at the wheel again, trying to keep the traction down. And what can he do? He's in the 33s. It's a 33.6. So the track is definitely getting better, getting quicker. And I think we're going to see the lap times start tumbling. I think it's going to be interesting for people like Monster, for Molson. Blood Diamond's in a 35-1 in fairness on those inters, and he's done the right thing, I feel personally, because he's kept on those for a couple of laps, and it's not always the first and second lap that works for the inters. It is always the third and fourth lap as they start to get the heat into them properly, and you feel the grip and you know exactly where it is. So interesting that Blood Diamond's done that. Molson's going to try and do the same thing, currently in 5th. Monster, I know, loves this track, so Monster's going to be a bit disappointed at the minute, being over a second off the pace, but it's these conditions, I'm sure, and I know how well he races, so I'm sure he'll come through the field regardless of what he does so far. Where's Molson? He's just backed off. He's in this little train that's going on. Vexman's popped up into 4th. Good lap from him on a 35.0. Just about a tenth of a second off Grimo, but the top two, they're big gaps, I must say. There's 4 tenths of a second between first and second, and another 9 tenths of a second between Liquid Gas and Grimo. So Monster's sticking out with the inters, which could be a good thing. Oh, he's bailed on them. He's got 4 and a bit minutes left of the session, so he's got plenty of time to put on a set of soft tyres should he choose and get out again. What's Grimo doing on this lap? Slightly up in his first sector. Oh, takes Bucklands very, very nicely indeed. Oh, a little bit twitchy on the exit. That's when you want a very important exit, but he uses his overtake button now, getting up to speed, trying to claw some of that time back, and right, he turns off, switches to medium as he goes through Cops, and let's see what he can do through the Maggots and Beckett's complex. Car looks pretty good. It does seem that there's enough grip on track. A little bit of understeer through Beckett's, which is normal. He's 6 tenths up. This is going to bring him a lot closer to his teammate. It depends on his final sector. He uses a lot of his battery, but this isn't exactly a point where you'd use a lot of it. He chooses 5th gear. We saw Thomas take a different gear. He chose 6th and keeps it higher, but 2nd for Grimo as well through the Vale and Club corners. Upshifts early to 4th and 5th to keep the drive in a 34.1. Lost a lot of time through that, but really good lap though. He's only just shy of his teammate, who is on an out lap. Wilson's avoiding people. What can Mike Taylor do? He's up as well on his laps, currently nearly 4 tenths of a second up, so the track's coming to the drivers. Oh, very, very wide, and invalidates his lap. What about Trem? What can he do? We'll keep an eye on him through the first sector. Car warmed up ahead of him, hopefully moves out the way. Not using the DR, no, he's bailed. Ignore that. He's bailed. I think Monster's going to go for one flying lap. So is Dom Walsh as well. They've got some time to make up on their final lap. Liquid Gas is on an out lap. His compatriot Thomas, leader of course in the championship as mentioned, still in the pits. Is he moving yet? I'm not sure if he actually is or not. So it's interesting that Thomas hasn't chosen to do another lap. Maybe he thinks those 410s are safe to get the pole position, and not always the most optimal position to be in around here, because if you can manage it through the turn 1, turn 2, and even the village and the loop and entry, you could potentially be at risk. We've seen it many times in Formula 1. Liquid Gas taking the nice wide line. That car really looks very pointy indeed. But it's interesting that I think he's taken a second warm-up lap on those tyres. He is, so we'll leave him be. Thomas has left the pits on a fresh set of tyres. Grimwood's on a cool-down lap. Is anybody on a lap? Come on, folks. There we go. Mike Taylor. 0.4 of a second. This could take him potentially above Blood Diamond as it stands. Good middle sector. Could potentially propel him into the top 4. He's 0.8 up. This could very much take him into the top 4. Purple middle sector, so he's quickest than those around him. Because we know it's not purple out of the full session, it's actually purple of those around you that you see on your delta. So it'll be Vexman and Blood Diamond that he is quicker than in that middle sector. Car looks very well planted, a lot of battery left as well, funny enough, but what can he do? It's a 140, did he? Popped it 34.6, so into 4th as mentioned. Molson won't get a lap, Vexman won't get another lap, so Mike is going to be there. Monster won't get another lap in as well. He's decided that's him done as well. He's going to find himself in 10th. And unfortunately, at the back of this half grid. Oh, Blood Diamond, very twitchy. That's going to really hurt his opener. He's going to have to use his overtake button ready to get himself up. Takes a different line because there is another bump halfway down that straight as well. It's very strange in this track that there are a couple of bumps in the very strangest places. But again, it is Codemasters, so we're used to it. We do what we do. And now the checkered flag falls. Everybody on their lap now is the last time they will get to set a lap. And I think it's going to be Liquid Gas as the last man who crossed the line. So we'll keep an eye. That's Blood Diamond. What can he do with regards to his spot? Of course, trying to help his teammate. They're doing well so far in the standings. Had some very good races this season. Trem has decided he's bailed on his lap. There's a yellow flag in the final sector. I think that's a Red Bull. Either Dom or Mike have finished their runs. And it was Mike. So he is done. Currently in 4th. What's Blood Diamond doing through the middle sector as he comes? He's a second up. This is going to be the 34th. This could potentially push Thomas. This could land him on the front row of the grid. And we've seen how well the team's Thomas has gone even quick. Wow, we're 32.8. Great lap from Thomas. So he is now done. It's really set the benchmark 1.2 seconds ahead of Liquid Gas. Oh, Blood Diamond again gets very twitchy, and he's upshifted to a lot there. And he's put himself into second, just behind his teammate, a second off the pace. What about Liquid Gas? What's he doing? He's bailed. Liquid Gas is bailed, so we've got an RB front row. Thomas takes pole position by a second ahead of his teammate Blood Diamond. What a lap that was from Thomas right at the end. Wow, fantastic. Then we've got an All Aston second row with Liquid Gas ahead of his teammate Mike Taylor. Good qualifying from him. He's in 5th ahead of both Mercedes, Mulson and Vexman. Then we've got Trem in 8th, Dom Walsh in 9th and Monster in 10th. So an interesting qualifying session, that one, because we saw a little mix of tyres. We saw a few people trying the softs, a few people even having a go with the instant. It just seemed to prove that the soft tyres were just about the better tyres throughout that. It was raining, it still is raining, but not quite heavily enough so it prevailed that the soft just had enough grip to keep everybody in. I wonder if people overheated the Inters a little, just didn't find the grip where they thought it was going to be. But a second is a huge, huge margin between the two. And it also wonder if people have thought that it's going to rain a little bit in the race. We don't know yet. We will see soon. But have people set a little bit more of that wet setup, and some people gone for the dry setup and struggle. We saw Blood Diamond really, really squirrely through the final section, through Vale especially. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting race, of course, folks, so don't go anywhere. Of course, we're going to have it very, very shortly for you. Look at that, folks. We have got sorry, moving the microphone out of the way. We have got beautiful dry skies. Why on earth nobody is watching so far, I have absolutely no idea. So please do get involved if you're about. We'd love to have you in the group and in the YouTube chat. So please do. It looks like a very dry race. But everyone just setting up their setups and strategies for the race. Traditionally, this is a one-stop race because it is one of the slowest and longest pit lanes of the season, this one. So you can lose up to 30 seconds of race time if you need to take an extra pit stop, and that can be very, very difficult indeed. I know I've done it myself, end of my previous season in the league I'm in. Luckily, I'd already clinched the championship, and yeah, but was looking for a strong race. It didn't work, nearly got lapped, and then just out of spite, and it was nothing other than just spite, decided on a late pit stop, managed not to get lapped, and just decided to set the fastest lap just to take it away from everyone above me, just because. But yeah, this is the one. It is a risk doing that because you can easily get lapped, especially, as I said, it's 30. It's about a 1.5 minute lap round here, give or take. So, you know, we're looking at a very time, 3 stops. You're going to find yourself a long way back, aren't you? So the one stop is preferable, of course, with the threat of safety cars. With only 10 people in the field, shouldn't, in theory, get that. But if we do, then it does open up another possibility. Especially a lot of these drivers have saved the soft tyres. The top 3, they both are V-carbs and liquid gas in the Aston Martin, have to use those soft tyres that they have used in qualifying. But yeah, it's a strange one, this one. I think it's going to be interesting to see who's used a wetter setup, who's used a higher downforce setup. Liquid gas, thank you very much. It was eventful. Yes, it was. A little bit. I think that was a tricky one for everybody. I think just trying to balance the downforce levels and the tyre wear and finding where the grip was in those tricky conditions. So yeah, definitely eventful, I think, for everybody on tender hooks, and really just trying to feel the grip, not wanting to push the front end too much in case the rear swapped. Careful with the throttle application as well, of course, because last thing you want is for those rears to start spinning and, well, round you go, and like a carousel, and just waiting now for everybody to finish setting their setups and strategies. Of course, park fair conditions, so not much they can do. We're on board currently with Monster as we start the formation up. Now let's have a quick look at the tyres. So Thomas and Blood Diamond have gone for the soft. Now that could be their used set of soft tyres. Liquid Gas has gone for the mediums, as have the few following him, and then we've got Vexman, Trem, Domwalsh on the softs, and then Monster on the mediums, looking to go a little bit longer into this race. And then once they've done that, then they will be looking, of course, to strap on the better, quicker tyres. So, like I say, everybody get involved. Hit that like button as well. Come on, Jack, I'll let you pause it for 30 seconds. Not even that, 10 seconds to hit the like button. And everybody else as well, if you're watching it, don't have to be live. If you're watching this afterwards, do hit the like button. Still send your comments in because it does help MRS get up there in the search bars on YouTube, of course. So we're going to put the position changes on. You know, people like Grimont, My Taylor, Molson Investment, those guys, everyone on the medium tyres. I think even Monster as well, those guys on the softs, they're going to have the heat a lot quicker than you on the mediums. Yours will take a lap or so to come in. Don't be worried if the people on the softs disappear off, or, you know, for example, Monster, don't be afraid if they do drop you a little bit. Just keep the cool and keep going, because you are going to have the lighter fuel load by the end. Bear in mind it's a green flag race, and this can be quite heavy on fuel as well, this one. Now this is interesting. Look at that at the bottom, everyone. The softs to mediums, lap 12 to 19. The hards, lap 12 to 19. Should you choose that one stop and go to the hard tyres if you can't make the softs last? I saw this the other day, and there's usually an offset, and literally on Monday evening I was commentating and so on one of my tier races, and I saw exactly the same thing, that the softs and the mediums were both exactly the same. So it's very, very interesting that they've both decided that they're going to be the same. And that was a completely different track as well. So we now have 3, 4 and 5 red lights and 426 laps of the beautiful Silverstone circuit. We're green and we are racing. Good start from Blood Diamond in second place. Good start. There's a few 3 abreast at the turn 1. That was Tremor, got a good start. On to Molson. There's a Red Bull's gone wide. I think that was Don Walsh. But at the front, everyone line astern, everybody oh, there's a couple of cars, and that's both Mercedes. Very, very wide. Monster's picked off Don Walsh after he went wide, so Monster gains the place, and that's important for him on the medium tyres, of course. So very, very important he's done that. Trem and Brexman are the other two that swap place. Everybody else has managed to hold position, so let's get rid of that now, because it's, well, plain and simple. But good start from everyone because of the little squabble in Molson. Look at this, he's got the soft tyre shed. Trem with the bigger grip. Pardon me, coming out of Luffield, and Trem's, oh, there's a little bit of a touch. Oh, there's another touch. You've got to leave racing room, and I think Molson didn't quite give the room to Trem. Trem's there, but he's now got Vexman, the other Mercedes, trying to go around the outside, and Monster's looking interested. Monster's trying to have a look. Can't do it through maggots. But Trem, going from battling with Molson, has now lost a place to his teammate, and I think he's going to be a little bit annoyed by that. But look at Monster pulling out of the slipstream, and he has got the move done in a straight line. Great move from Monster. No DRS yet, of course. That comes at the end of the lap, so Monster, great opening lap, made those 2 spots. Very important, but of course he's on the medium tyres, so just needs to play the long game. The top 5 all within DRS with another Molson. Unfortunately, because of the backline, has now dropped to 2 seconds. He may find himself. Oh, Trem's got back past Monster as well through the final sector. But again, everyone around Monster's on the soft tyres. Monster will know that, so just needs to do what he needs to do. He's had a lot of fantastic races so far. I know he got a little bit of stick. But Vexman and both the Mercedes are now stopped because the DRS is now enabled. It is lap 2. So it's going to be important, especially for these top guys. Look at Trem, he's got a very good exit. outside of left field. Is he going through Woodcut? He can't quite make the move on Molson. This is war, I think, between the two. Oh, Molson goes very wide. That might have been a warning. I hope it's strict limits, because if it's not, it's pretty poor doers. It needs to be strict corner cutting limits, because if you go over that white line, you need that warning, you need that penalty. Otherwise, you take a little bit of liberties. Interestingly, at the top two, there they are, have streaked away from the Aston Martins, who are really struggling to keep within the DRS. So much so that Liquid Gas has dropped over second. He's closing through this tight section. Grimo as well, but he's under a lot of pressure from Mike Taylor as well. We're seeing these strategies. Actually, that's 12 to 18 now, so it's interesting that it's thinking that, I mean, I've not seen it pop up that many times before. So it's quite interesting that the game's thinking, okay, it's a bit warmer here. The tyres are going to overheat. They're going to wear a little bit more. So that they may need an earlier pit stop. Tremors now. Look at that on the exit. Wow. Through entry. Down the way in the straight. Both got DRS off the back of Molson. But this is now just a battle in a straight line. Oh, there's big contact. Big contact. Oh, Trent managed to keep that one going, but I think there was a bit of Molson turning in. Monsters trying to get a good exit and look interested as well. Of course, everyone around him on the soft tyres, but that was an interesting one. Vexman's closed a little bit. It looks to me like Vexman is on a higher downforce setup in a straight line there where the top speed is important. Looks like he lost a little bit of time to Mike and Grimo ahead, and Grimo's caught back up with his teammate. Liquid Gas struggling with pace at this moment in time, but he's on the mediums while the top two, look at this, they're just line astern. Blood Diamond's not trying to have a go at Thomas either. Didn't have his DRS open, if you noticed that, down the hangar straight. So just quite happy sitting behind, playing the rear gunner, playing the long lane, playing the team game as well. Grimo's got past his teammate, interestingly. So it's going to be interesting to see if Grimo's got a bit more pace and can close up onto the back. Trem and Monster having another little ding-dong battle as well. So we've pretty much, with this, Molson's dropped off the back of his teammate now. A little bit of no man's land. 2 seconds off the back of this lead group. And Molson 2.6 further back as well. So he's going to be under fire from those around him. But already we're on lap 4. A little bit of contact early on. Luckily nobody's got damaged. Nobody has been hampered. But I think these two V-carbs really working fantastically well together, because they're dropping Grimo by another half a second. And, you know, Grimo's not a slouch. Neither's Jack. Now there's anybody really in this league. So it just shows everybody there working together. Blood Diamond is using his DRS at this moment in time. Is he going to try to overtake his teammate? He's not. He's just using it to keep with him. Good play at this moment. Everyone just sort of line of stern. Monster and Don Walsh now are having a good little ding-dong. Trem's lost a spot to the Red Bull, and Monster's taking advantage and up to 8th. And now this is where the mediums are going to be feeling nice. That little edge that the softs had will have faded slightly now on lap 5, and the mediums will feel a lot nicer, a lot fresher. They'll feel a lot more consistent as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what Monster can do about that gap to the two Mercedes drivers, where Vexman's slightly close to the battle ahead, but Molson really dropping away. Everyone's just, oh my god, a little bit wide there in the dirty air from Grimo, because those two Astons have swapped positions again. Need to start using themselves to try to pull in, because they are dropping a lot of time to the V-carbs ahead. I know they're going to be in the party together. Monster's having a few battles. Molson's dropped a lot of time, but there we go. That's dropped again. But tell you what, oh, Mike's had a look. That was liquid gas in the end. Trying to work out which of the Aston Martins it actually is at this moment. They're doing what they did in Japan and just swap every lap. Unfortunately, 3 and 4 this time, not 1 and 2. And Mike just is on the mediums like those 2 hours as well. So that's all status quo. Monster now has got past Molson now then. He's on the mediums, of course. Don't forget that. He's going to be looking at what he can do just on those tyres in the fresh air, clean air, and those more consistent tyres of what he can do. Molson and Don Walsh having another little battle now. Trem's really fallen off the back of this pack, really struggled. Oh, as Molson gets a big twitch of oversteer as he hits the power and goes wide. Is the first one to get the penalty for track limits, and Don Walsh takes advantage of the rear, well, very slippery rear end of that Mercedes and has made the move through, but Molson wasn't giving that up through Luffield. Molson now, he's already closed a little bit on this lap, so let's just keep an eye on that gap further back. This is important that those two scrap for Monster so that he can just get his head down, and he loves this place, so see what he can do. Closing up, oh, look at the dirty air. Mike goes very wide on the exit of... Oh, Trem gets a 3-second penalty as well. Liquid, the Aston Martin swapping places once more. Need to use that in a better way so they can really creep on the back of those V-Carbs who at the minute still line astern, but still really battling well. Grimmer having to defend hard for Mike. I think this is a battle that's going to go on a long time, folks. Nearly not quite, but nearly a third of the way through this race. Monster still having... Trem's pitted already. Very early indeed. Don't know if he had any damage from the onboard. Well, distant shots that we could see didn't look like he had any damage, so maybe just an early pit stop for him. Maybe he didn't like the soft tyres, maybe just burnt them up a little bit. Let's have a quick look at the tyres he's got on. Oh, wrong one. So he's gone on the hard tyres, so that's interesting. Should in theory be able to take those to the end, if not very close, especially if he's got another set free. But Doma's now got past Monsters, so that's interesting, probably with the use of the DRS, so those guys locked in a battle as well, such as Liquid Gas, Grimmer and Mike are as well. And I'd imagine we're going to see the Aston swap places. Oh, there we go. There's Grimmer to the outside of his teammate. At the minute, everyone's just sort of calm. That gap hasn't really opened from the Astons and Mike to the top two. So it's interesting that with all their swapping and changing, of course, don't forget, they're on the mediums. The top two are on the soft compound tyres. They've got the mediums to come. And it's going to be interesting to see if everybody can close that gap. Everyone's just lying astern, everyone's calm. I know there's a little bit of dead air in here, folks, but at the minute, it's all sort of the same battles. We know that there's going to be a change, so Liquid Gas will probably get past his teammate as well down the hangar straight. But yeah, everyone's just very calm. Everyone's just having the same little battles. Watch this, Liquid Gas, there we go. Oh, and he goes past. The job, Mike's not in contention this lap as he was last time round. Oh, as Grimmer goes a little bit wide, that could potentially been a warning through there. Easy to run wide. But they've closed that gap just slightly at this moment in time. Mike now has just seemed to drop off the back, and that's now allowed Vexman, who had the clear air, just to start to close up, which is interesting in itself. Molson's dropped off the back of that Don Walsh and Monster battle, so hopefully that's going to allow those two to close up a little bit more as well. Having clear air, of course. Don't forget Monster on the medium tyres. The softs at this point seem to be holding up quite well. Where's Grimore? There he is. I thought he was a little bit closer this time round. He is. But Mike's closed back into that DRS zone. Obviously very, very important. I'm sure a lot of you will laugh at this. I've just heard my partner downstairs. She's rummaging in the beer section of my fridge. So, I mean, she's done well. She does well, bless her. She knows when we need the top-up of refreshments, shall we say, throughout a commentary evening. And, of course, there we go. The Aston Martins have swapped. Blood Diamond and Thomas just working very, very well. Don Walsh is the third person to get track limit warnings. He's in the dirty air, of course, behind Monster. Vexman's had that little lap. Mike just seemed to drop off that last lap and has then caught up again to the Astons. I thought the Astons might have breathed a sigh of relief, thought they were rid of the Red Bull, but it is realistic performance. That Red Bull is going to be quicker. So that's why you see Monster and Don Walsh in loggerheads all race long, because of the performance differences. So now we've got, of course, the V-Carbs up ahead. The gap with Grimo and the Astons and this little battle still stabilised. We're just going to leave that for a little while. Look at Don Walsh and Monster. They're still battling. 3 seconds for Dom, of course, as it stands. Molson's dropped off the back of this, and Trem has caught a little bit to Molson, but of course he has made that pissed off for the hard compound tyres, so they're going to start coming in to their own probably about now. He's had a few laps on them. Let's just have a quick look. There's 3 laps in, so they'll start filling the heat now into them, getting warmed up a little bit more. So it's going to be interesting to see his race pace, whereas the softs will start to drop just that little bit. We said it was about lap, I think it was 16 to 19, wasn't it? That they're going to start to really hamper, but they're just not going to offer. Pardon me. See, too much beer. Oh, Vexman. Wow, look at that. He tried to do the undercut and he's got 10 seconds of speed in the pit lane. It is a very, very slow pit lane here. Only 36 miles an hour, because we don't do any of that kilometre an hour rubbish that they do in the continent. It is miles an hour. We are British, and we're the British Grand Prix. So I'm going to stand by my guns, but he has got 10-second penalty. He was running well in 6th in clear air, so that's really, really going to hurt come if he needs to do a next stop. But we've got 15 laps left. He should be okay to go towards the end, and I'd imagine we will see a lot of the soft tyre runners very soon. Don Walsh in the DRS got that move done on Monster, but Monster's going to be able to go the next couple of laps. And again, like I said, same with Liquid Gas, same with Gummer, same with My Tail. Look at Monster. He can take that narrower line, get the power down that little bit more, and there goes the Ferrari roaring through the Panzer Horse. Oh, and look at the understeer that Mike had there. Was very, very delayed on the throttle, just couldn't do anything. As soon as Monster got past him, being that close to the dirt, just did not have that front end grip that you also need. And look at that, so struggling massively through there, dropped into nearly a second behind, got the DRS, luckily for him, to keep him there. But now Blood Diamond's the second man to pit. He's decided he's in second. He was right behind his teammate from the word go, and he thought, okay, he's going to go first. He was struggling a bit more in his tyres than Thomas, who of course had the clear air. And we haven't looked at the V-Cars for a little while. Nothing against Thomas or Blood Diamond, I just think the livery is a little bit poor. But who's this that's pitted? So Don Walsh is pitted as well in the Red Bull. So let's go back to this Mike Taylor battle, the one and only Mike Taylor battle. So they're still Nicky Gas and Grimwood changing places every single lap. That gap to Thomas is it's still hovering. It's grown a little bit in the last lap or two. I think that's just Molson now got another 3-second penalty for track limits. We've seen people in dirty air really struggling with the front end, and gaps starting to form throughout the field as the Aston Martins do change places once more. Are we going to see any more of the soft tyre runners start to pit? There's only Thomas, and he has decided to pit a lap later than his teammate. I wonder if Blood Diamond's going to get the undercut. And also now, when are we going to see the medium tyre runners hit the pit lane? This should go in the next couple of laps, I'd imagine, about lap 15 or so. But again, green flag race so far. No safety cars, no yellow flags, no virtual safety cars that will nullify the field. Where's Thomas going to come out? There he is. He's just leaving the pit lane. Where's his teammate coming down the start-finish straight? Is he going to pass his teammate? He's there, and there's his teammate. Not quite. So the undercut didn't work this time round. But status quo, folks. We saw this from the off. Blood Diamond right behind his teammate from the word go, and again, here we are, just helping that team get maximum points this evening. Thomas helping his teammate in his push towards the championship. I know, like I said, I said it was round 4. It's not. It is round 5. I will change that one, folks, so I do apologise. Slightly difficult when you're commentating on multiple races, multiple tiers, multiple championships, multiple leagues to keep track of which tier we're on. So again, still status quo. This Grimo Liquid Gas Mike Taylor battle from lap 1 now on lap 14. Still the same. Mike doesn't quite have the overpace unless he's just conserving battery, conserving tyres when he needs to. We've seen him run wide a few times in the dirty air where the Astons just seem to be working very well together as a team. We saw it last week in Japan, where of course they took a very impressive 1-2. But Grimo, we're riding on board with, and he saved his battery very well. I don't always show battery levels due to potential race engineers who may be watching and feeding the information back to the drivers that they're battling with. But yeah, saving his battery very well at this moment in time. So it's going to be interesting to see. Let's go to the gap to the leaders now. Thomas and Blood Diamond have got 20 seconds to the leaders. That is quite major because, as I mentioned, it's quite a long pit stop here. And I say quite, I mean very long pit stop here. And a one-stop is the preferred strategy, which has come up multiple times, of course, whether it's going to be the soft tyre to the hards. Oh, have we got a change of... Wow, the V-cars have actually changed position for the first time in 15 laps. I didn't think we'd see the day. Monster and Molson are the next two to pit. They're going to fall behind these two, but soft tyres for Monster, I'm sure Molson's going to follow suit as well. They'll be very quick towards the end of this race, so I'm sure those gaps will close up. But everyone's just line astern at the minute. But that gap to the top three has come down quite dramatically. It's under 20 seconds now, and it is a good 26-27 seconds for a pit stop round here. As I mentioned, it's a long pit lane, reduced speed as well to only 36 miles an hour. Oh, Mike Taylor again gets very twitchy through Cobb's corner. Aston Martin change of places once again, but look at those two. The V-Cab's really close now. 18 seconds now, that gap. I have a feeling that those top three are going to be under pressure from Wexman. Yes, he was the first one to pit to those mediums, but they'll start to feel okay for him. They may fade towards the end, but probably not that much. But that difference, now 26 seconds, that's going to be a tough one. Let's go back, get rid of all that information. Oops, there's it, wrong one. I need to go back to the intervals. There we are. 17 seconds, so that's probably about 18 seconds to Grimmer, where Thomas is now. So the longer that the top three hold this one out, the further they're going to be behind. There was nearly a 4-second gap, of course, so don't forget about that. But they are going to be on the softer tyres, and we saw how quick that was in those opening stages. And like I mentioned, they are going to be on lighter fuel, so a little bit quicker as well. Let's have a quick look at the penalties, because that is something that's going to be important. Wexman, of course, when he did that pit stop, he's got 10 seconds worth of penalties speeding in the pit lane. So that's going to help Monster. That's going to give Monster a big boost in order to try to come through and take that 6th spot. Of course, qualified 10th. Didn't quite work out for him in qualifying, but good strong race so far for the Brummie. I'm sure he doesn't like me calling him that, but that's why I called him it. Because why not? What's he going to do? So liquid gas, 10-second penalty for liquid gas. Jack has got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit. That's huge, especially when it comes to the championship. Second currently in the championship. He's going to surely lose points to Thomas after this race, the way that those V-Carbs are racing. But 10 seconds, absolutely enormous. He's going to be furious in that party chat. I hate to be Monster and Grimmer, because their ears will be bleeding, I'm sure, at this moment in time. Mike, I do believe, has also pitted. There he is. But wow, that's huge in terms of championship for those two. I tell you what, Wexman's got through on them both as well. Get rid of those. So that's interesting. I know Wexman's now. This is for position, because liquid gas with that 10 seconds. Wexman, older tyres, but also with a 10-second penalty. Again, Monster has pitted. Mike has now pitted as well. Grimmo's the last one, I believe, to actually enter the pit lane. I'm sure he will the end of this lap. And I think, if my calculations are correct, it's going to be a straight-up fight between Grimmo and Mike Taylor for that final podium spot. Because I think, personally, I think those V-Carbs looking very strong. And actually, in that pit stop phase, liquid gas, even though you got the 10-second penalty, but if you look at the gaps there, Grimmo has hit the pit lane. I think they've lost about 4 seconds to the V-Carbs, so it's worked out very well for the V-Carbs. Look at this, Wexman, just defenseless with the DRS that Mike and liquid gas had. Nothing he could do, and of course they're on fresher soft compound tyres, so they're going to have the grip. Oh, Jack, wow, I've never seen somebody take that line through Vale before, but hey ho, that's a new one for you. Where is he going to come out, though? Where is Grimmo going to come out in regards to his teammate? And I think his teammate's going to go past him. Where is his teammate? Is he going to be on the left-hand side? We didn't quite see him. There's Grimmo. He's going to be right in the mix with the Red Bull. Can't quite make it. But that lap fresher tyres and no penalty as well. This is, I believe, a straight fight between Grimmo and Mike Taylor for third place in this race. Monster doing quite... Oh, I'll tell you what, I missed that. I was completely looking elsewhere. Liquid Mike has actually made a move on the lead of the Aston Martins. Imperative, because if he is rightly fighting Grimmo, he is going to try to use the other Aston Martin as much as he possibly can to gain as much of an advantage as he possibly can. First time he's been in clean air all race, but I was actually looking when that happened at the time. So Monster has started to close down. Oh, I said Mike had run wide a few times, and there we go. 3-second penalty for Mike. Has run wide and over the white lines a little bit too often. And there's liquid gas goes through once again. Grimmo not quite close enough. But yeah, Monster's just closing the gap to this battle. This could see Monster, as it stands, propelled up to potentially 5th spot by the end of this race. But I tell you what, Grimo and Mike are not giving that one up. Grimo, what a move on the outside of... Yeah, you don't see that. Oh, there's a fantastic move from Grimo. Very brave and respectful from Mike as well. I think maybe Jack just backed off that little bit just to allow Grimo. Has he got the DRS? Has Grimo been able to get the rear wing? He hasn't got the rear wing from the back of his teammate. Does that mean that Mike's going to be close enough? Mike's trying to look to the inside into Brooklands. Is he going to be close enough? He's put a front wing in there and there was contact. I think that's forced Grimo a little bit wide. There was contact. Mike's managed to hold it and Mike's gone on the outside of Luffield. What a move from Mike. Bravery again at the highest order, and look at this on board Grimo, and you can see how the Aston Martin behaves under turning in the dirty air. Grimo again, DRS gets the move done on Mike. Monster's closed up another half a second this lap. This is going to be interesting by the end of this race. 7 more laps to go. But funny enough, we said there was a gap of 8 seconds. Liquid Gas and this trio, well, quartet really, if you look at Vexman as well, have closed the gap by about a second. They're on the fresher tyres, they're on the softer compound tyres than the top 2, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can actually make that gap close enough for even Grimo to... What happened to Vexman? What happened to Vexman? Monster's gone through. Vexman through the first couple of corners had a big moment, and that's allowed Monster into 6th, but I tell you what, Vexman's not giving this one up. He didn't get the DRS because of the way that he had his little moment. So Monster's through now, but he's going to be under pressure from Vexman when it comes down the hanger straight. Again, Vexman very close. Again, Liquid Gas, Grimo, Mike Taylor knows to tell as well. Is Vexman going to have a look at Monster? Can they use each other to drag themselves to the back of the other 3 ahead of them? Monster does a very good job of defence there. Vexman wasn't quite close enough. Is he going to have a look into Ville? He's not this time round. Grimo now sets the fastest lap of the race. Good lap from him. Under the DRS and under the rear wing of his teammate. Are we going to see that multi-21 order? Are we going to see the swapping left, right and centre that we saw last week? I'm pretty sure we will. With that gap now hovering at 6.2 seconds. So it's all just calm at the moment. Monster and Vexman still having a little ding-dong battle. So, Monster and Vexman still having a little battle. Grimo right there with Mike. I'm sure we're going to see more overtakes coming this lap round. Grimo's got a lot of his battery left, done very well with that all race long. Got different ways that you conserve the battery. Well, his teammate seems to be using a little bit more. Got a little wide as well. A lot of understeer, trying to carry too much speed through the maggots into Chapel, and that's allowed his teammate through. What can Mike do? Because he's going to be close enough to have a look at the Aston Martin. Not quite again. Frustrated again for Mike. That's another lap, and Vexman this time has gone through a Monster. There's a lot of overtakes here, folks. I mean, I've lost count by about lap 3, but I think we're going to see a few more before the end of this race, and Monster with the better tyres, I'm sure will come through. This will probably hurt Monster more than anyone else, but they're within that liquid gas 10 seconds. So it's still good news for Monster as long as he can get through Vexman. Vexman's not giving this one up. He's probably looking further back at that Don Walsh Molson with their penalties as well, trying to minimise that gap. And that gap difference, I should say, towards the end of the race where their penalties will come in. Monster down the Wellington straight. Is he going to be close enough? What a fantastic helicopter shot, and gets the move done under braking. Can he get the car stopped and hit the apex? What a great move and great overspeed and braking for Monster. That was fantastic. And gets the traction as well out of left field for good measure. Fantastic helicopter shot that we've got here. Pulled a bit of a gap. Those tyres seem to be working a little bit better for Monster. Now he's in clear air, but Vexman seems to be quicker through cops. And I'm sure this time around we'll see another overtake as Liquid Gas and Grimmo have once again swapped places. Vexman with the rear wing open. Is he going to be close enough though? That's the thing. Monster deploying, I think, a little bit of his battery in defence. And there we are. Status quo for one more lap. So final stages of this Grand Prix, 3 more laps to go after this one. Are we going to... Oh, Liquid Gas has left the session. What's happened to Jack? Has he had a complete internet shutdown? His car is ghosted. That's going to drop him down the order because he's not in control of his car. It doesn't look like he's ghosted actually at this moment in time. Looks like Grimmo got a good move on him. Oh, there's been contact with Mike! That's a bit confusing. He normally would ghost, but there does now. Let's turn ghosting off in this league. Because I'm not used to that, I'm not going to lie, folks. But Liquid Gas has lost connection somewhere and has decided, for some reason, his car's decided it's going to pit. We'll keep an eye on that one. Let's have a quick look at the tyres. He's going to have to get rid of his 10-second penalty. I wonder if he's looking at the drivers behind. But that is crucial for the championship. That Jack could lose more places than he has already to Monster and Vexman. And don't forget, pardon me, he's got to serve that penalty. That allowed Don Walsh through. Is it going to allow Molson through as well? Let's have a look at those penalty situations. He has got rid of them. Molson was 6, Don Walsh with 3, so has Mike Taylor, and Trem's got 6 as well. That early pit stop for Trem hasn't worked for him, unfortunately. Had a really, really good battle early on, didn't he, with Monster. And Don Walsh and Molson as well, so they had some really good fights, but not being his day. Still points though, don't forget, he's still going to get a point, because he's in the top 10. But interestingly, because of all that, I don't see damage to the Red Bull, especially front-end wing plate damage that would hurt the downforce. But Mike has dropped outside of that all-important DRS to Grimmo, and we said about the gap coming down. It's now 4.6 seconds, so sort of as you were, near enough before the pit stop rounds. Oh, Mike takes a bit more curb than he probably wanted to there. Vexman's probably going to lose at this moment in time. If he gains about half a second, he will still, with that 10-second penalty, finish ahead of Don Walsh. But it needs to get a few more tenths before the end of this race, because of course Dom's got 3, so that is technically 9.5 seconds, not 6.5. Oh fuck. Sorry about that, folks. I had a complete technical meltdown. Sorry about that. So, yeah, Vexman is there right behind Monster. Is he going to try and have a look? They're just kind of avoiding the bump there. That is not necessarily about defence. Monster pitted 2 laps earlier than Mike, so that would sort of explain part of that gap. But Monster, I think, still had a great race so far. Started off in 10th, up to 5th. And they're on merit, don't forget, as well, apart from Liquid Gas, who, unfortunately... Oh, Mike's got another 3 seconds. That's going to give Monster a little bit of impetus. He's got to gain 2 seconds out in the final lap and a half to stand a chance of getting that 4th spot. His tyres a little bit more worn, though, and he's still got that pressure from Vexman. His tyres should be okay, even though 14 lap old. It should be fine. Vexman couldn't find a way through this time round into Stowe. Grimo's definitely closed that gap. And it's interesting that Grimo's closed that gap because the top 2, if either of them happen to get... I mean, these guys have been nose to tail since lights out. This is incredible formation flying from the Vika. I have not seen this in over 4 years of esports racing, nearly pretty much every single week, and I daren't even try to work out how many races that actually is that I've raced, especially when I do multiple per week, and the amount of commentary that I've done. I have not seen formation flying like this in all those years. Liquid Gas has decided he's pitted again. I wonder if he's back in the session. I don't know. It's very strange if he has. Maybe just trying to pinch the fastest lap, which let's have a quick look at. It's currently Grimo that's got it. So maybe just trying to pinch that from his teammate in the final lap of the race. But I think he's left it too late because it's going to be the final lap that he's coming out of. I think he's too far gone. I think he won't be able to do it because this is now lap 26. The leaders are about to end, and Grimo, what a charge he's had at the end of this. Less than 2 seconds behind. What a race Grimo's had to close that gap, but to no avail because there it is. The V-Cars formation flying. A 1/10 of a second separates them. Grimo in 3rd. Mike Taylor will finish 4th. Vexman has got ahead of Monster, but that 10-second penalty is going to hamper him and push him further back down. And it does, so Monster will be 5th, Vexman will be 6th. Don Walsh will finish ahead of Vexman, so he will take 6th, ahead of the Mercedes man. And then Mulson coming round the final 2 corners. He will finish on a very lovely, fair enough, 8th place. Trem didn't work out. He did that early pit stop on the hard tyres, stuck it out, hoped it was going to come back to him, and unfortunately hasn't this evening. So Trem's going to finish with 2 points in 9th. And then, characteristically, I'll try that again. Liquid Gas is going to come home in 10th place, and a big swing in the championship. Not one that Liquid Gas would have wanted. Thomas in the VCAP has got driver of the day from the game. Personally, for me, if I was going to give driver of the day, I mean, Grimo had a very good race as well. Really caught up as well towards the end. Mike had a very strong race as well. For me, coming from 10th to what would be 5th, I'm going to give it to Monster, personally, because I think he had a lot of battles. He was on the harder tyre, of course, the mediums, in the first stage of that race, and had a lot of battles with Vexman, with Don Walsh and Tremor as well. So I think he did very well. So he's my personal driver of the day. Bit of a shame for Jack, of course, but the V-Carbs, I mean, formation flying from start to finish. Very good racing from Thomas and Blood Diamond. Grimo does take the fastest lap as well to help that extra point for him and the Aston Martin team. Mike in 4th, as mentioned, then Monster, Don Walsh, Vexman, Molson, Trem and Liquid Gas. Unlucky for him to finish in 10th. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed it. It was quite a nice race, that one. It was a lot of overtaking, but very controlled overtaking. And, well, that's us this week. We'll be back in 7 days' time, start of November. I can't work out my dates on my calendar that's next to me, but it'll be, yeah, anyway. We're here next week for round 6, not round 4 or round 5. It is going to be round 6 of the championship. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for joining. And I look forward to seeing you next week.